Time for another 3-round mock draft here in the Sportsocracy. Coming to you live from the Ingles studio, the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, have the final pick in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft.
I mean, and the beauty for Kansas City is that you can just sit back and see who falls in your lap.
It's mop-up duty.
Look, does this team have any crazy needs? No. They do what smart teams do. Make sure we have a guy so we don't absolutely have to shoehorn in a position. There are a couple that we would like it to be, but we don't have to. If it's an edge guy, that works. If it's a running back, that works. I mean, they would not prefer that, but if Jahmyr Gibbs is there, I wouldn't be shocked if they took him.
Right.
Or you could have a guy that falls right in your lap, like happens in this particular exercise.
All right, let's see who is still on the board for the Kansas City Chiefs, picking at number 32.
DeJuan Jones, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. He is a house. 6'8", 374 pounds.
That's a big dude.
Now, is he hyper athletic? No, he's just real long and he's real big. And he, unlike Darnell Wright, I think he can play left tackle. It's just going to take time. Really good pass blocker. I mean, there are some tapes that you don't necessarily love, but it's more because of how damn big he is and what he was asked to do. He is a mountain in the run game. I mean, you watch Ohio State, they ran right behind his ass a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think he would come in as the right tackle. I do believe, even if they do this, I still believe Jawan Taylor's going to play on the left. That is why they signed him to that deal.
Yeah.
It's because they think he can play on the left side. They see a little bit of what Baltimore originally saw in Orlando Brown. Yes, he played on the right side, but we think he'll hold up on the left. DeJuan Jones would come in on the right. You have to round off some of the form. But, I mean, and you have to know that he's never going to be this great pulling tackle because, I mean, he's a 5'4" guy. Mm-hmm. And he's a house. So, I mean, yes, you do have to play some of the limitations, but I really like this kid. I like a lot of the tape. And I think if he gets to a spot like Kansas City where they can be patient with him, he can ultimately be a very good player in this league.
So after they solidify the offensive line, in the second round at pick number 64,
Derek Hall, edge out of Auburn.
All right, go to the other side of the ball.
Now this is, and we talk about this a lot, this is an edge defender that is a situational pass rusher, period. I do not know that he is ever going to be good enough to hold up against the run. I can say the same thing. To me, he's kind of a poor man's Will McDonald because he's not as good a pass rusher, but he's close. Got a better body frame. He's bigger, better. I would argue probably a better tackler, and I think he is going to be better dropping in coverage. So if you decide if a 3-4 team drafts him and wants to stand him up, I see a possibility for that. Kansas City, they're going to put him on the opposite end of Karlaftis and just see ball, get ball. And in the NFL, you need these hyper-athletic edge rusher types that can just get after a quarterback. Is he ever going to play more than 30, 35 snaps a game? No. But in those snaps, he's going to be really impactful, and he's going to be a hell of a toy. Because I think there is – I used to say this about USC wide receivers. I don't feel like he was really well coached. Mm-hmm. And he went through 2 different coaching staffs, and it was clunky. But when you just watch him be a football player, you see NFL edge rusher on tape.
In the third round at number 96 overall, I think this is a new name.
And this is about where he'll fall in. I thought he was going to run faster. He ran a 4.44, but he plays faster on tape. Tyler Scott, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. What does Kansas City do really, really well?
Patrick Mahomes.
Well, they Patrick Mahomes very
really well.
They find little shifty-ass receivers that are track fast. Mm-hmm. Can't run a route, don't care. Don't care. I'll find a way to generate touches. Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Tyreek Hill was the same thing in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I see here. He doesn't run routes well. He doesn't catch the ball well. But sweet baby Lord, when he's got the ball in his hands, bad shit happens to defenses. He was a running back for a long time. I can't remember exactly when he converted to wide receiver. I think it was late in his freshman year, and you can see running back in him. The biggest knock on him is that his hands are just not great. So this is going to be jet sweeps and wide receiver screens. He's never going to be a high-end outside receiver, but he's another toy. He is a toy for Andy Reid, and I'll be honest with you, it would be terrifying to see this kid in that offense. He's one of the – you said he was a new name. One of the reasons is because depending on the team, he could be out of the league in 3 years. I mean, he's that raw. He is a track star that just so happens to have worn a football jersey for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
He's never become a football player, but he's really good in space. And if you coach him up a year, 2, 3 years down the line, you could have a special player because there's so much untapped potential here. There's really no way of knowing what he's going to become. But all of the little intangible things, he's really good out of breaks, really good off the line, really explosive. A lot of those are things I can't really teach. So you've got the raw. Now you just really need to be coached up, and I think Andy Reid's the perfect person to do that.
All right, the Kansas City Chiefs adding another weapon for Patrick Mahomes, shoring up the offensive line as well in the first round with DeJuan Jones, and then Derek Hall, the edge rusher out of Auburn, added to the defense.
I feel like you couldn't walk away from that and be sad. If you like these picks, if you hate these picks, if you want to just call me a big mulleted dipshit, feel free to do that in the comments. I answer all of those. We will have 2 more mock drafts, the A-plus coming out next week, which is 7 rounds. Guys you've talked to, guys you've had in the building, the best that I can construct of the players that I know you're interested in. And then we will have my final actual 7-round projection the week of the 2023 NFL Draft before we cover every pick live.
And you can follow Floster Dumbass over there at ESPN Draft.
It's not original.
On Twitter.
It's not original. It's been done a lot of times. So,
and don't forget to like this video, share it out with your friends as well. Subscribe to the channel so you can get all of our Draftmas season content right here in the Sportsocracy. We'll see you next time.